Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2 of the Sam Podcast. We'll be talking about careers this season with me, Mr. Sam. Today, we're diving into a very exciting and sometimes controversial career, military pilots. Joining me is our special guest, Miss Laura Bennett, a former aviation student and defense analyst. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. I'm really happy to be here. This topic is definitely intense.
It is. And before we begin, let's just say we both are smiling because this conversation might get a little heated.
Oh, I'm ready.
So, Laura, when people hear military pilot, they often imagine something like scenes from Top Gun. Fast jets, cool sunglasses, dramatic music. But is that the reality?
Well, that movie definitely influenced public perception, but real military pilots are not just action heroes. They are highly trained professionals with enormous responsibility. It's not just flying fast, it's strategy, discipline, and sometimes life or death decisions.
But don't you think movies like Top Gun Maverick glamorize the job too much? They make it look thrilling, but they don't show the stress or long-term impact.
That's true. But I think inspiration is not a bad thing. Many young people decide to study aviation because of movies like that. The real journey, though, is much harder than 2 hours in a cinema.
Let's talk about training. Becoming a military pilot is not easy. First, you must join the military branch, for example, the United States Air Force or the Royal Air Force. Then, years of training follow.
Exactly. The selection process is extremely competitive. Physical fitness tests, psychological evaluations, academic exams, everything must be passed. And even after acceptance, not everyone finishes the flight program.
That's intense. I read that pilot candidates must handle high G-forces. Some even faint during early training.
Yes, they train in centrifuge machines to prepare their bodies. It simulates the pressure of sharp turns in fighter jets. Your vision can go black if you're not prepared.
That sounds terrifying.
It can be, but that's why discipline and preparation matter. Military pilots train for years before flying advanced jets like the F-16 Fighting Falcon or the F-35 Lightning II.
Here's where I might disagree with you, Laura. While I respect the skill, I question the purpose. Military pilots are trained for combat. Doesn't that mean their main job is warfare?
That's a strong statement. Yes, they prepare for combat, but they also perform humanitarian missions, disaster relief, surveillance, and national defense. It's not just about fighting.
But combat is still part of the role.
Of course, it's the military, but their mission is often to protect their country. Without air defense, a nation could be vulnerable.
So you believe military pilots are necessary for security?
Absolutely. Imagine if the country had no air defense. It would risk invasion or attack. Military pilots act as deterrents. Their presence prevents conflict.
Deterrence theory. Interesting. But doesn't building stronger air forces create an arms race?
Sometimes it can, but that depends on political leadership, not the pilots themselves. Pilots follow orders. They don't decide national policy.
Let's move to the human side. Military pilots face enormous psychological pressure. Imagine flying thousands of meters above ground, responsible for expensive aircraft and possibly lives. That stress must be overwhelming.
It is. Many pilots train in stress management. They practice emergency scenarios repeatedly. Engine failure, bad weather, equipment malfunction, everything is simulated.
Like cockpit warning sounds.
Exactly. And they must react calmly within seconds.
But what about family life? Military pilots can be deployed overseas for months.
That's one of the hardest parts. Long separations, unpredictable schedules, and the risk factor can strain relationships.
So would you still recommend this career?
For someone passionate about aviation, yes, but they must understand the sacrifices.
Modern military aircraft are like flying computers. Pilots must understand advanced systems, radar, navigation, and weapons control.
Yes, they study aerodynamics, meteorology, and engineering basics. It's not just push a button and fly. They constantly update their knowledge.
So they're basically engineers in the sky.
In many ways, yes, and teamwork is critical. Pilots coordinate with ground control, other aircraft, and intelligence units.
Communication must be clear and precise.
Absolutely. One mistake in communication could cause disaster.
Let's talk ethics. Some people argue that military pilots participate in violent actions. How do they deal with moral responsibility?
That's complicated. Military training includes rules of engagement and international law. Pilots are trained to follow strict guidelines.
But emotionally, it must be heavy.
Yes, some pilots experience emotional stress after missions. That's why mental health support is increasingly important.
I respect that. I think we often forget that behind the uniform is a human being.
Exactly. They are not machines.
Let's discuss career growth. After serving, many military pilots transition to commercial aviation.
Yes, airlines value their experience. Their training and discipline are highly respected.
So, in a way, military pilot training can open doors to civilian careers.
Definitely. But again, the initial commitment is serious, often 10 years or more of service.
That's a long time.
It is not something you decide overnight.
Laura, have you ever wanted to become a military pilot?
When I was younger, yes, I loved airplanes. But after learning about the commitment and risks, I decided aviation research was better for me.
That's honest. What about you?
I admire the courage, but I don't think I could handle the G-forces.
My vision would go black immediately.
That's fair.
So, to summarize, military pilots are highly trained professionals. They undergo years of physical and mental preparation. They serve in defense roles and sometimes humanitarian missions. But the career comes with risks and sacrifices.
Yes, it's a career that demands discipline, courage, intelligence, and resilience. It's not just about flying fast jets, it's about responsibility.
And while we may debate the political and ethical sides, we can agree that becoming a military pilot requires extraordinary dedication.
Absolutely.
Laura, thank you for this thoughtful and slightly argumentative discussion.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed the debate.
And to our audience, if you're considering a career as a military pilot, research carefully, understand the commitment, and reflect on your values. Thank you for listening to the SAM Podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode where we explore another exciting career path.
Goodbye, everyone.